Hi there, welcome to the archives. I wanted to just do a book share for a book that I've been slowly going through. It's called Goddesses. So it's 50 goddesses, spirits, saints, and other female figures who have shaped beliefs. So Goddesses. It's written by Dr. Janina Ramirez and it's illustrated by Sarah Walsh. So tales of powerful female figures have been told since the beginning of time, and this collection brings together 50 stories from around the world. There are loving creators, wise leaders, fearsome warriors, gentle healers, mystical protectors, and they can each inspire you to find strength within yourself. Beautifully written by Dr. Janina Ramirez and stunningly illustrated by Sarah Walsh, this amazing collection contains goddesses, guides, spirits, saints, witches, demons, and many more female figures that have played an important role in shaping beliefs today. With photographs from the British Museum collection, this incredible book will entertain, engage, and empower readers everywhere. So this is, yeah, like I said, this book is published by Nosy Crow in collaboration with the British Museum. So again, it goes through goddesses, guides, spirits, saints, witches, demons, mountains. Meet 50 figures from around the world who have entranced and empowered people through time, whose stories have shaped belief and who inspire today. So a little bit on the author. It says Janina Ramirez has written many books, some for adults and some for children. With a love of storytelling, she finds looking at the stories, people, and ideas that inspired humans hundreds and thousands of years ago. Janina also presents documentaries on television and radio, which allow her to travel the world, but she is happiest at home with her family, 4 cats, 3 chickens, and 2 hamsters. And Sarah Walsh grew up in upstate New York. When she was young, she was obsessed with animals, so much so that she wanted to be one and wore different animal costumes all year round. She also knew in her heart Aria and Ayura. She also knew in her heart she would be an artist someday. Deuxième fois, on s'est mes frères morts. If she worked hard enough. Sarah is now an internationally published illustrator, lives with her family in Kansas City, Missouri. And so many different people. Some of the figures in this book are not actually known as goddesses by the people that honor them. So Mami Wata is a spirit, Mary is a saint, Rangda is a demon, Baba Yaga is a witch, and Pele is a mountain. It is important to see the differences between these figures and the people that value them, as they reveal the many varied views of individuals, communities, and cultures. It would be impossible to include all the different belief systems from around the world, since there are a staggering number of inspirational females bringing hope and help to people all over the globe. Reading about these figures will not only open your eyes to fascinating stories that are so compelling, exciting, and intriguing that humans have been passing them on for hundreds, even thousands of years. It will also show you the world in all its complexity and beauty. With Papa Medao, you can travel to the fragrant mountains of Myanmar, also known as Burma. Durga takes you to the bustling banks of Indian rivers during Hidi festivals, while Itzpapalots transport you to the Aztec temples and dense jungles of Mesoamerica. Perhaps there is a goddess in all of us. It's that hour here. The girls are giddy with excitement. So, yes, basically it goes into a bunch. Like I said, I'm going to take some time to go through some of these. Later on, I will share Mami Wata. They go into Athena. I might share Athena. I'm trying to do more of like the BIPOC folks. There's Inanna, who's a Mesopotamian goddess. So many people. So it goes all over. We go to Egypt, Rome, Haiti. We'll talk about Ezili Danto, China, Xiwangmu. We'll talk about. That's where I am currently. Baba Yaga, which is a Russian folklore. Durga, which is a Hindu goddess. Venus, which is a goddess of love in Rome, in Roman. Jalchu. Okay. How come they don't? I wish sometimes when they. Anyway, it's okay. Chalchiuhtlicue, an Aztec goddess. I can never say the Aztec names properly. Please forgive me for that. Patini, which is a Sri Lankan goddess. Bridget, who is a Celtic goddess. So we're going to go into this. We go to Sri Lanka. Ariadne, who's a Cretan goddess. Asasiya, those are my people, which is a West African goddess of the earth. I always say Yasase. I cannot get it right. She's also known as Abrewa, old woman. She's a wife of the sky god Onyame. So again, we're gonna go to the Ashanti kingdom. There's Gaia, who is the Greek Mother Earth. There's Eve, the first woman made by God. So it talks about Eve. So for all of the Christians, they're like, demonic! It talks about demons. It also talks about Eve. There's Mamu, who is a West African creator of the sun. So it just shows you all of these. Like, again, one of the questions I've been thinking a lot is like, how did Christianity, how did Islam, how did Judaism, how did Buddhism, how did Hinduism, like, why is there certain religious sects that are more dominant in these days, right? When they're also all of, like, how come we didn't learn about Mamu, who is the West African creator? How come West African creation stories are seen as demonic and bad? Right? Because they tended to lean more towards animism, and a lot of these other religions saw them as like, okay, like you. There's Mokosh, which is a mother of the earth. This is a Slavic goddess. So we're gonna go to Europe. There's Lilith. Lilith is it says Jewish demon and monster of the night. I wouldn't call Lilith a demon actually, but we'll get into it. Lilith, we often talk about Adam and Eve, but everybody says Lilith came before Eve. So we're gonna get into some controversy with this one. Sekhmet was an Egyptian lioness and bringer of destruction. There's Diana, Roman goddess of the moon. Freya, I'm going to talk about Freya also in the 36 Warriors and Queens. We talk about Freya. Freya was a Norse goddess of love, war, and magic. Izanami was a Japanese goddess of death and new life. So we'll go to Japan. Anant, we'll talk about the Middle Eastern goddess of war and peace. Hel is a Norse guardian of the underworld. Rangda, Bali's queen of demons and widow witch. We'll go to Bali. Medusa, the snake-haired demon with deadly eyes. We're going to talk about Medusa. It talks about Kali, so we're going back to Hindu and India. Kali is a Hindu deity, I believe. We talk about Mother Mary, the highest among women in Christianity and Islam. So Mary. Jianying, Buddhist goddess of kindness and mercy. So we'll go back to the east and southeast China. Isis, don't forget about Isis. She's an ancient Egyptian mother, a magician, the wisest of women. How do you say this one? Hecate? Hecat, ancient Greek goddess of protection. Sarasvati. We're going to go back to Indian Hindu. We're talking about Sarasvati, who's a Hindu goddess of learning and the arts. There's Tara, who's a Buddhist mother of compassion and wisdom. Chanje? I wish it would give us a thing on how to pronounce the names. There's a Chinese goddess of the moon. How do you say her name? Chanji? Chanj? So we'll go back to China. Pitswanwin. Oh, the Lakota. This is the first indigenous native person I've seen on here. How do you say this? Pitsisanwin. Sacred prophet of the Lakota, the white buffalo. We're going to talk about Lakshmi, who was a Hindu goddess of wealth and fortune. Bopa Midao, Burmese. We're going to go to Burma. She's a flower-eating ogress. Sedna, Inuit mother of the sea and all its creatures. I think in North of North, we talk about Sidna. Am I saying it properly? Have you watched North of North? I love North of North. This is the one I have a trouble saying. Itzapapalotl, Aztec skeleton warrior. Bagdata, how do you say that? Bagdata, an Irish war goddess, a battle crow. There's Oshun. Oh, they do get into Oshun. Hey, girl. And the art is really beautiful. I should have been showing you the art. Like, look how gorgeous Oshun is looking. Like, yes, you better sit pretty. So there's Oshun. Pele, Hawaiian goddess of volcanoes. Also really pretty art. Sorry, I should have been showing you the art. There's Spider Woman, a Native American creator of curses and good advice. We'll get into Spider Woman. Let's see. Tiamat, Babylonian sea dragon and goddess of water, salt water. Amaterasu, a Japanese sun goddess. So Japan, you see a lot of folks who have folklores, right? The Japanese, the Chinese, the Burmese, Sri Lanka, Japan, Papatuanuku, Maori earth goddess, Maori. So we'll go to New Zealand, but modern day New Zealand is actually Aotearoa. Mazu, which is a Chinese goddess of the sea. So again, this is my question. Like, if all of these cultures have all of these deities, all of these false idols, and they were doing just fine, you think all of these people who believe these people went to hell because they were worshiping false idols? I think the whole false idol, look, the Shinto religion, there's so much. There's so many different religions that are considered pagan, right? And I refuse to believe that like they all had it wrong, and there was thousands and 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years before Christ, and they all practiced their religion, and so we're supposed to believe all of them just died and went to hell because Christ hadn't come yet to save them, and that Christ is the only one that saves them. I personally think that's a little naive. That's my own, like, no judgment, but I don't think all of these. I don't think the Japanese who um, practice Shinto religion are going to hell. They've been practicing Shinto religion before Christianity. So, like, how can you tell somebody who's a Shinto practitioner that their way is wrong, that they're worshiping false idols? They were doing that before your God came, right? So, pagan is a person holding religious beliefs that are based in a deep respect for nature. Pagan religions include ancient indigenous belief systems as well as modern pagan communities. Slavics are people of Eastern Europe and Russia that speak a collection of related language. Sumeria, the oldest known civilization in Mesopotamia, dating between 4500 and 19 BC. Remember, I was asking about Mesopotamia? So it was between, and see how again the numbers go high and go down to low. So 44500, right? 4500 BCE all the way down to 1900 BCE. Taoism is a Chinese spiritual tradition originating around 400 to 300 BC. Again, this is way before Christianity, right? Way before 400 years before Christ even came. That Taoism, which stresses living in harmony with Tao or the universe. Taoists believe in spiritual immortality, where the spirit of the body joins the universe of the earth. The underworld is a mythical land of the dead, often thought to be beneath the earth. Shaktism is a part of Hinduism that celebrates the eternal goddess as a source of all life, energy, and power. So see how women are brought up in a lot of these other cultures, right? Notice where you don't see, well, Mary's there, but you see that like women play a really important role across all sorts of religions, right? They weren't always subordinate. Um, Mesoamerica is a historic and religious period region stretching from central Mexico to northern Costa Rica. Before Columbus, ancient civilizations flourished here for thousands of years, including the Olmec, the Aztecs, and the Mayans. Mesopotamia, and meaning the in between the rivers. Mesopotamia was a region between the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers. This fertile area is now known today as Iraq, Kuwait, Turkey, and Syria. Oh, Kuwait City. Minoan, named after the legendary king of Minos of Crete. The Minoans were a civilization that thrived on the islands from roughly 3000 to 1000 BC. The Norse, referring to Norway specifically, but also the Scandinavian region, language, and culture. Judaism is a religion of the Jewish people developed among ancient Hebrews. Jewish people believe in one God who revealed himself to Abraham, Moses, and prophets. Hinduism is the world's third largest religion. Hinduism is an ancient Indian religion and way of life. Its roots go back many thousands of years, and its four goals for human life are dharma, duty, which artha, work, kama, passions, and moksha, enlightenment. Christianity is the world's largest religion. Again, notice how something that came after all of these has become the largest religion. It's founded on the life and teachings of Jesus Christ. Christians believe in one God, and their sacred text is the Bible. Celtics, the Celts were people bound together by language, region, religion, and culture. Celtic territories stretched from the Black Sea across Europe down to Spain and across to the British Isles. Assyria is a powerful kingdom that existed in the 3rd millennium BC to around 600 BC, centered on the Tigris River running through modern-day Iraq, Syria, and Turkey. So the Aztecs were people from what is now Mexico whose culture and religion flourished from around 1300 to 1600. The Aztec Empire ended after being violently colonized by Spanish settlers in 1521. Babylonia, an ancient state based around the banks of the Euphrates River in the Middle East. It was founded at the start of the 2nd millennium BC. Its major city was Babylon, close to modern-day Baghdad and in Iraq. Buddhism, it talks about Islam. So Buddhism, it says Buddhism was founded in the fifth century BC by teachings of Indian Gautama Buddha. It spread across Asia to become the world's fourth largest religion. The word Buddha means enlightened. Islam, the religion of Muslims. Islam is the second largest religion in the world. Muslims recognize in one God, Allah. Islam was founded by the Arab prophet and leader, Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah in the 7th century. So the 600s. Yeah, so this goes through, you have an index of how to find stuff. Like I said, really beautiful illustrations. Here's Mamu. So this is great for young readers. Sasaya in Ghana. Well, so again, I will come back to share some of these individually. There's just a lot, right? There's like 50. Yeah, there's 50. So there's a lot. I won't be able to do each and every one of them, but I will come back later in 2026 in the new year to kind of spotlight as many of these as I can, because I think it is important to remember that there are so many different ways of knowing and being, right, before and outside of Europe, right, and even in Europe. I think a lot of people forget that some Europeans did practice paganism, right? They had their own ways, and it was certain things. Beautiful illustration. So this is 50 goddesses, spirits, and saints, and other female figures who have shaped belief and is in accordance with the British Museum. So I just wanted to, this will be something we'll be going through in 2026, okay? I have Mami Wata ready to go. I have Ezili Danto ready to go. Rhiannon ready to go. So we'll get Athena. So we'll get into more of the specific details of each one for those people that are interested, right? I'm learning myself. Again, I think this is more of a beginner's introduction. So don't expect like the whole breakdown of their lives. Kind of use it as an introduction to learn more information about these people. And hopefully I'll do the same as I'm learning about them, okay? So until next time, in solidarity.